Well, it's been a while since we did an update video on the little Jayco Kiwi, so I thought we would do a little video this morning and show some of the stuff we worked on over the last month or so. So just walking around the outside, one thing we did was we put a Camco cover on the bathroom vent so we can leave that little hatch open all the time, get some good airflow through there. Those are really inexpensive on Amazon. Some folks say they last not too long. Some people get a little bit more mileage out of them, but they're so cheap and easy to put on, it's really not that big a deal. We replaced the wheels and the tires. Those were ordered online, so they just bolted on, super easy. I also replaced the front jack. The one that was on here was the original one. It was rusted and the bottom part was bent. I took a dip in the road a little bit too tightly and it was cranked down a little bit too far, so the bottom end of that original one was bent. I also wanted to put a wheel on here. This camper is pretty light, and with that wheel, one person can kind of move it around a little bit if you're just a few inches away from your hitch or just a little bit off. If the winch is replaced, make sure you carefully measure the openings, because there's an opening hole on the top and there's also one on the bottom as well. So you got to make sure that fits through both of those. The first one I ordered didn't, and I had to get a different one that did fit through. But as far as the way this goes on, these are just tapped into here. There's threads in the actual trailer here, so there's no bolts underneath, and these just screw down. Super easy, very fast project. And again, with that wheel makes it awesome to move around a little bit, so you don't have to be quite as exact when you get close to your hitch. If you're on a concrete pad, one person can almost push it around themselves. I can kind of manhandle this a little bit myself. A little bit of an incline or on dirt or gravel, and then two people should be able to move it. Also put a new battery on the front. I still need to do a more permanent strap because this is just kind of clipped on there, but that dropped in nice and easy. A real sort of temporary quick fix that we did to make sure that the hatches stay dry is just using painter's tape. So along the seam when we parked the camper, we just put some painter's tape on there, and it's bone dry inside, 100% totally dry. So the seal is something that I do want to replace eventually, but for now that's kind of a quick, easy fix. And stepping inside, we spent a lot of time working on the interior parts. In some of the other videos, we've shown some of these projects, but the floor has been totally redone. The old floor was a whole lot more rotted and soft than we thought when we bought it, which is often the way it goes. So we pulled out all the rotten stuff, put down new plywood, and some new vinyl stick-on flooring we got at a discount store. The cushions were a big change, a big update. I used the old foam from the old cushions and then just did the staple and plywood method for these. Pretty easy, just staples on the back and you're good to go. Made a big difference in here. I still have the corner foam, but it was easy just to do it this way, at least initially, and I think it opens up the area a little bit more. I still want to make another cushion there and maybe tweak a few things with the cushions, but again, that makes a big visual difference. For the flooring, because it was at a discount store and the boxes were pretty cheap, we bought a couple extra. So I had a lot of extra flooring. And once we replaced this wall was totally damaged. I wanted to put something on here, and I was trying to figure out what would kind of work and what was affordable, and the flooring came to mind because we had so much of it. So what I used for this, I did some research on it, and some people have had good results just using liquid nails. So I used a whole lot of liquid nails and then put the stick-on stuff, and it's been in here for over a month. We've had some extremely hot days, and none of it is coming off. It seems really, really anchored to the wall. And it looks kind of interesting. It's a little accent wall. The ceiling, I've got another video on how we handled that. The previous owner had a leak that was never really wrapped up. So the ceiling got all damaged in this part here. We put it inside of a big garage over the winter and everything dried out completely. We also pulled off all of the bad wood. So what we were left with was a lot of stained stuff that looked really bad, but was structurally okay. So just for visual purposes, This is just soffit material, and we covered it with that, which came out really neat. And again, there's a video on that. For charging phones and tablets and all that good stuff, there's really no easy place in here to charge those things. So this was ordered online, super cheap, pretty easy to put in. And our battery level, we've got 2 USB ports, got a 12-volt cigarette lighter plug, and that's a switch for it. This was just a decorative square, like on the ends. That seemed like a good spot, so we can just throw stuff up here when it's plugged in there to charge. Looking back this way, this is just a temporary fix. I want to build a real nice cover for the burners when we're not using them, because we get a lot of extra space. This is just Luan that's zip tied to those covers on the back. So that just sits right there and extends our counter space. For the bathroom, this one did not come with any kind of vent. And I like a vent for air movement as far as white noise, because this is a tiny camper. And I didn't like the way that some of the other fans set up in there. The inexpensive fans had real mixed reviews. A fantastic fan would have worked great, but they're a little pricey. So we went a different route. This is a fan motor for a radiator, and I bought 2 of them online for about 30 bucks. So $15 each for these fans. And then I cut a piece of Luan, just a big circle, and screwed that in. It's just a 12-volt fan to work in the car. And then this is just a speed switch. So we've got all kinds of variable speed. We can go from 0, and it's just a potentiometer here, so there's no clicks. So you pick your speed. So low, or whatever you want it to be. It's somewhere around 40%. It's probably around 80. And then a whole lot of air. That's a crazy amount of air. And it really does exhaust a lot of air in here. When the door is closed and you turn that on, you can feel the whole bathroom kind of suck in a little bit. So that worked out really well, and it was really cheap. We've got just a curtain here. As far as the curtain goes, this is just a track that again was ordered online, inexpensive. I cut it down a little bit, and this is just a regular curtain. Just spins around, close the door, and you can keep a little bit of that water in there if you're using the shower. I bought some inexpensive blinds and mounted these guys. I also bought some larger clips for the bottom. The clips that came with these were pretty weak, and 1 or 2 of them broke off. So the clips on either side keep this nice and anchored, so when we're going down the road, they don't go anywhere. And I bought some extras of those in case we need to replace those down the line. Also went with a larger fire extinguisher. I wanted something that was a little bit beefier than the really tiny one that clipped down there. So this guy just mounts in here. There's a support strut in here, so we were able to put that wood into there really strongly. When we brought the camper home about a year ago, the radio would work, sort of. It would drift. It wouldn't stay on the same frequency, and the display wasn't working. And all of a sudden, after a couple trips and bouncing down the road and leaving it on for a long time, it seems to have fixed itself. So the radio is working extremely well. The CD player, this door, the plastic clip broke on the back. So since we really have no intention of using this, there's just a screw right there that holds that in. We do have, the ability to plug in auxiliary stuff here, so that's working pretty well. A little bit of humidity control inside. I bought one of these EvaDry things. Some folks say they work great. Some people say they're really just for little closets. I think it's working pretty well in here. It feels fresh. So I think getting rid of a lot of the wet wood that was in the floor and the wall, of course, makes it feel a whole lot drier in here. And it's nice and fresh and clean. So just a quick update. I've got lots of other projects I want to nibble away at, especially over the winter time. I've thought about a new counter cover, maybe doing something decorative here. I don't know about wood or some sort of slate look, some sort of granite look. The backsplash would be an easy place to put some more trim on there as well. Some valances and a little more finishing inside would be nice. I would like to put a strap back up to hold this like it was originally designed. For right now, we've just got those Irwin clamps holding up a little bit. I do have some kind of cleanup visual work to do up here. The foam that's curved that goes up against there is over here, but I do want to clean that up. I've seen other people use mesh or baskets to make the storage there a little bit better, so that's on my to-do list as well. I like to paint a lot of this trim. This piece here, I replaced the one on the front, but this little trim piece there could be replaced as well. That would make it look a lot better too. We replaced all the canvas last spring, so the front tent ends, the front and the back tent ends are all new. For the cushions here, these still have the original print. We usually cover these with sheets, so I don't think I'm going to do much with that. For this gap here, the trim piece was lost over the winter somewhere along the line. And since we're close to all of our electronics, I have a 100-watt Harbor Freight Thunderbolt solar kit. It was very inexpensive, works very, very well. We've used that on several trips. And since we're kind of centrally located here and we've got this opening, the charge controller would fit very well right here with a little bit of trim work. So that's a future project as well. And we'll just do a little tap, a little plug on the outside so we can plug the panels right in over there. So it's come a long way. It was a discounted camper when we bought it. It needed a lot of work. And we've used it 4 times, used it 3 times so far this season. We've got one more trip planned. And it's been a lot of fun and a very affordable way to go. Thanks very much for taking a look.